Cheers, guys. Epix 911. Welcome to the Wednesday, June 14th, 2017 edition of VR News. Fortunately, the VR arcade fell through. Owners contacting me early this morning, asking to reschedule to this evening, but because of the VR News, said that wasn't going to work. So tentatively, Monday or Tuesday of next week is when I do that. All right. Chris Brower, the Audio Shield phenom, longtime viewer of the channel, linked me, or rather texted me on Steam, info about this game. And I missed it yesterday. And thankfully, he's a pretty persistent guy. Wasn't going to let me leave today without acknowledging what he had texted before. I'm glad he did, because it looks to be hella good. This Dead Effect 2. My first thought, holy crap, this looks like a better Doom 3 VR. In fact, overwhelmingly positive feedback on this game, which is in early access for both Rift and Vive, on sale right now if you get it. And about 4 hours of content, even with the early access. The other types of comments that I'm reading, as polished as raw data was from the get-go, lots of replayability. Love the different types of weapons. So you've got arrows as well. Curious how the physics is going to play off on this game. Let's just say I downloaded this pretty much right away. A few reviews and videos later. So it will probably be the first of the resurrected quick look here on the East Coast. So really excited about that. Dead Effect 2. And then next up, E3 PlayStation VR game Gran Turismo Sport. The first game that I can think of, and I might just be forgetting, where the developers publicly have acknowledged that there were graphical challenges for them. Now, it's no surprise, sport games, or it doesn't even have to be arcade, simulation racers too, dealing with the types of cars that they are and the tracks, relies on really good competitive graphics. And along with that, horsepower to push said graphics. So I totally get when they say they ran into trouble on the PlayStation 4. Remember, you've got static hardware. Even with the PlayStation 4 Pro, it's only as fast as it is. There's no new CPU right around the corner. So you got to work with what you have. Now, over time, as is typical with consoles, devs get used to the programming, optimizations, and it's that phenomena when you compare console games from the start of the console's life cycle to the end. Even though the hardware hasn't changed, the quality of the games certainly, you notice, changes for the most part. So yeah, Gran Turismo Sport, apparently some graphical compromises had to be made, so not quite the looker, but one thing I've said and maintain in VR, you don't need to be as good looking, screen to screen, because that first person virtual reality experience trumps your conventional comparisons, right? It just makes things that much better without the need necessarily for all of the eye candy. In fact, some of the most demanding eye candy options don't seem to do much within virtual reality. So there you go, Gran Turismo Sport coming fall this year. Now this next one, a hands-on with the upcoming Farpoint DLC called Cryo Pack. David Jagno from Upload VR, able to test this at E3. And yeah, here are his thoughts on that. So basically expands cooperative multiplayer, new maps that move away from the drab colors and terrain. So you've got mountainous, white, snowy terrain to really contrast against the yellows and browns of the core game. Notice that the controls were pretty much the same. New skins, 6 new single-player challenge maps in total, 2 new cooperative multiplayer maps, new toys in general, trophies, all in all, a lot for what you get. So June 27th is when that launches. Again, that's Cryo Pack, which is the Farpoint DLC. Looking forward to that. Which, just as a side note, I was at a few stores today looking to purchase Farpoint and couldn't find one bundled with the aim controller. Checked Best Buy, Walmart, and of course the store that probably would have had it as I'm talking about it right now, EB, I didn't check. So do that tomorrow. All right, let's jump into the next game. This one is Walking Dead. We don't have a hell of a lot more in terms of updates, but it is an update, so I'm going to mention it. Skydance Interactive revealing the platforms. They said they're targeting all of them, Rift, Vive, and PlayStation VR. Also, that they are basically going to blow people away. Well, if you make a statement like that, I'm sure as hell going to hold you to it. Hopefully it will. And the other thing, if we're talking about hope, is that I dearly hope it kind of moves away from the conventional kill zombie type FPS or survival horror. Hopefully they do something unique in a way that, captures the feeling of the series. And I've probably got half a dozen things instantly that I could think of that would be fun and tie it to the series. So hopefully they're going to do that as well. I really don't want to just see another generic zombie survival horror game. All right, Anvio VR, billing itself as an epic-looking multiplayer, full-body virtual reality experience. So targeting commercial as well. It uses top-of-the-line professional motion capture systems retrofitted with off-the-shelf stuff. In this case, in this article, Oculus Rift, driven by backpack PCs. And that's really my big kind of issue with this, and we'll get to that in a second. But the space. So you get warehouse scale, right? In this example, it was 2,100 square feet. So a pretty big area. Also equipped with motion captured assault rifles. So you get all of that. This is their description of it. Anvio VR designed to provide complete freedom of movement for the player. In our worlds, you can run, jump, wave, and more with your friends. Our large play area and fully wireless system means you don't have to worry about cords or running out of space or creating an incredible level of immersion. A single arena is able to host different game content, which can be switched on the fly. And they show at least one example of this in the video, and I agree, it looks good. My only issue, and this is going to happen, right? If you've ever gone to do paintball with buddies, your adrenaline at some point, unless you're totally disconnected and you hate being there, right? Your adrenaline and, innate sense of fun is going to kick in. And when you play paintball, especially in an outdoor summer setting, you start doing potentially stupid stuff, right? Diving, your cover, all of that stuff. If you were to engage in that, all kinds of potential to do a lot of hardware damage because of those backpack PCs. You got to constantly remain on guard, right? And aware that you've got thousands of dollars of equipment on your body. So that's not going to matter. You can come up with all the warnings you want. It's going to happen. And it's probably going to happen more frequently than you think. So my curiosity is, how do you accommodate that commercially, right? Because that could get expensive, not just for the people playing if they're liable for the equipment, but of course the people hosting, right? Even just one or two damaged systems, that really would impact the bottom line. Other than that though, looks fantastic, looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Just curious how that type of a game, that frantic, right, how that will play out in real life. All right, and then an update on the Kopin Virtual Reality HMD. This is the one we looked at twice, January 7th, 2017, and then recently June 4th, we took a look at it, talked about prices, release dates. What I didn't have access to at the time was a picture to show you the scale. I have that now. Take a look at this and you just get an idea of how incredibly small this HMD is. No, it's not sunglasses VR level yet, but holy crap, it's a step in that direction. This thing is light as hell, apparently. According to those who've tried it, they say the prototype headset feels feather light, even though, and they made a small annotation, it was missing a small driver board, which would add a negligible amount of grams to the weight. A single flexible strap that goes around the back of the head holds the device on your face with ease, no top strap required. So very cool. And at the same time, very rigid, heavy duty quality feeling. Plus light and a small form factor like that. That's the direction we're moving in. So very cool. Again, the Kopin HMD. All right, guys, that is it for VR news on this Wednesday. Catch you guys tomorrow, nearing that magical marker of days, the hallowed Friday. Cheers, guys.